So we are officially halfway through 2026. I don't know how that happened, but we are here, and since it is now officially July, well, the 5th of July, it is now officially spooky season, so happy pre-Halloween going in through the rest of the summer. So, hi, welcome back to the channel, or welcome if you're new here. I figured I'll take today to sort of get started on resetting for the month, as well as getting myself into the spirit of Summerween and spooky summer. So I don't know if it's gonna happen all today. It might go into the rest of the week, but I figured we can take baby stages and see where this video goes, because I don't have a formal plan for this. So it will be a great time, and we'll figure it out as we trek along this video together. So I was supposed to have Pilates this morning, but I think it ended up getting postponed because everyone's schedules were just all over the place. But it worked out for the best because it's allowed me to get a little bit of laundry done, put some new sheets on my bed, because I've just been needing new bedding for myself since I haven't done a full sheet replenish or redo in a while since I've moved into this condo. So I finally got myself some new sheets on my bed. They're like a pink rosy kind of sheet, and I found it at Home Goods on Friday. So I'm very excited to give those a try, and I'm just very happy to have some new bedding for myself as a little treat. So I was able to do that just before I started turning on this camera, and then I've just been working on some other laundry, dishes as always, and then I need to go out and get myself some groceries. So I figured I'll probably just take an inventory of what else I need before I start going out to the grocery store. So that's gonna be my plan for the next hour or so. Okay, so I'm gonna flip out my laundry and just do some last minute things here before I go off to the grocery store, and then I figured when I come back I can sort of give y'all my spooky Summerween TBR and sort of chat about what I'm planning to read for the rest of the summer going into the fall time, because we are getting to that point and I'm very, very, very excited. And then we'll see where the rest of the week takes us. So, welcome to the video. So it's now the next day. I did not get a chance to talk to y'all again after I got back from the grocery store, and that was just because I made a late lunch, and then my parents came by to check in on me, and they also brought me a new iPad because my old one was ancient, and I needed something new with a lot more data and memory so I could read more books on there. So I got a new iPad yesterday, so shout out to them for that. But the reason I wanted to check in with y'all again tonight was because I know I'm trying to get more into the mood of Summerween. So when I got back from work tonight, I threw on a Summerween video that some other YouTuber had done on their channel, and I was doing some time on my walking pad, and then I ended up making myself some dinner. So I ended up doing my favorite of the Fall Harvest Bowl that I think is in one of the BuzzFeed cookbooks. And I love making it. I haven't made it in so long, so I figured I could make that for dinner tonight and at least get myself more into the fall mood. But another reason why I wanted to check in with y'all is because I wanted to show some of the books that I got recently from book crawls and just going to my local bookstores in the area. And plus, I also did order a book through bookshop.com that I actually am very excited for. So I figured I'd do a quick little haul before I start winding down for tonight. So the first place I ended up going to a couple weeks ago was this place I think called, hold on, I gotta look up the name of it because I'm drawing a blank. Aha, okay, I knew I was right. Okay, so yeah, it's this place called the Book Cafe that's in nearby Estero and Gulf Coast. So it's like this one part coffee shop, one part bookshop. So they had not a whole lot of inventory, but at least interesting selections. And what I ended up finding from there was, funny enough, Splintered by A.G. Howard. I think this is like an Alice in Wonderland retelling of some kind, where I think we follow Alice's descendant, and I think she's dealing with some curse or whatnot. Now she's got to go into Wonderland to figure out what's going on. But I knew I looked at this for a while when I was a teenager, and I remember I wanted to be into the series, but I don't think I ever really got to it. Oh, that's so cute. Olivia, whoever you are, this is adorable, so thank you. So yeah, no, but I was just trying to like get a feel for the first bit of writing style. I could figure out if I wanted to read it or not, and literally like the first sentence got me. So this is definitely going on. I don't know if it's going to be on the summer TBR, but I think it's definitely going to be later in the fall. So very much looking forward to that. And then I ended up going to Blinking Owl Books, which is a little bit more in town for Fort Myers, and I ended up getting quite a few things in there. So I forgot I had this. Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah, so before I get to the books, I ended up finding this really cute and fun horror book review sticky notepad. So I know I'm trying to be better about reading my books, and well, I'm trying to be better about tracking my books, and I figured this could just be a fun way of saying, okay, what horror books I read and my readings on them and my thoughts. I thought this was really cute, so I am very excited to use that. And then I got 2 books while I was there. So the first one I got is Slasher Summer, which is a new book by Chen. I think this is a debut, I think? To be determined, but I think all of these characters in this book are named after famous horror movie characters. I think from what I've read on or heard about online. And I think it's supposed to be like The Breakfast Club meets Friday the 13th. A little bit. Anyway, very high praise. Very much looking forward to adding this to my Summerween TBR. And then I also got Eat the Ones You Love by Sarah Maria Griffin. This almost kind of sounds like a sapphic little shop of horrors. I think that's the best way to describe it. I think it's sapphic little shop of horrors. and I enjoy Little Shop of Horrors, so this could be a very fun one. And what's actually funny is one of the folks I was chatting with in line at Blinky Owl, I think they were talking about how much they enjoyed this book, and I got really jazzed about that. And then we started talking about like other like Planet Horror books. So I never got your name, but shout out to you if you're the person who recommended this book to me. So thank you very much for that. So that's my little haul from there. Oh yeah, I think Blinky Owl's having like a anniversary birthday celebration, so I ended up getting some. Oh my god, this is so cute. I got like a whole like little baggie of rose petals and I think a candle and like words of encouragement in here. So let's see what this one says. I don't know if I'm supposed to read it out loud, but I'm just gonna read it anyway because it's so cute. May the right story find me when I need it the most. Okay, that's actually really adorable. That's so cute. And then it also comes with like this little candle. So I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. I might just keep it out for aesthetic reasons, who knows. But anyway, I love it. It's adorable. So very, very happy. Anyway, where was I going with this? Yeah, so the store was having a birthday party because it was their 5th anniversary. So I got to attend that day and I set up a membership, and I also found that they're doing a writing circle. So very excited to hopefully get into that and be with the other people in that community. So very huge shout out to Blinky Owl and everybody that worked there. God was so kind and wonderful and generous, and I can't wait to come back for more in the future. So very, very excited. And then the last thing I got, this is one that, oh man, I think I've been eyeballing this for some time and I've not had a chance to find it anywhere. I can't even get it to my library because that's how difficult it is to find, but they had a copy on bookshop.com, and that is Summer Camp for Slasher Victims. You guessed it, another slasher summer book. Okay, so I think this is also kind of like a Friday the 13th, The Burning, any insert summer camp slasher story in here. I think this is one where the lead character, I think, is helping to run her grandfather's camp for trauma victims and survivors, and there's a killer on the loose as always. So I am very much excited to get into this and read this because this just sounded so much fun, and I absolutely cannot wait to get into this. Yeah, so we're definitely getting into Summerween here with our book selections. And oh, also before I forget, I went to the library the other day and I had ordered myself the 4th volume of, I don't know how to pronounce the actual name of this, so I'm just gonna say the English translation, The Girl from the Other Side. I had read a deluxe expansion edition where it had the first 3 volumes of this manga series, so I finally put in a request to get volume 4 so that way I can keep going with this, and I'm very excited because the story is just so heartwarming. While dark, it's very heartwarming and just extremely wholesome. I cannot wait to jump back into this world with Shiba and Teacher. So that is my little haul for my Summerween book selections. And then what I'm currently reading right now. So I am currently on Ryan Sala's coastal zombie horror young adult novel, The Dead of Summer. I'll put a graphic here because I know it's on my iPad on Libby right now, but I can't really put into words how to best describe it other than it's a high schooler and his mom who's just survived cancer or is in the process of recovering from cancer, and they've returned home to their island in Maine, and there is some sort of outbreak going on where people are literally turning into coral-like zombies and weeping goo, and it's crazy. Yeah, I'm about halfway through that book right now, so
it had a lot of great momentum going into it. I know it's kind of slowed down a little bit, but I'm definitely excited to see where it goes, because I think this is, I think the Dead of Summer is supposed to be a duology, and the next book I think is coming out either at the end of this year or going into next year. I don't know what exactly is going on. I'll let Post It Anime figure that out, but I think that's what the scoop is for Ryan Lasala's little duology. So very much looking forward to finishing that, because I did enjoy The Honeys by him, and even though it wasn't like a 5-star read for me, I still had a great time reading it, and it made me very emotional. So I hope that this lives up to the hype of The Honeys and continues to live up to the hype of The Honeys while being its own thing and seeing it thrive as its own little series. Okay. I know there's other stuff I want to do for the rest of the week going into the weekend, and trying to see what else I can find to do for little Summerween activities, whether if it's just going to see what stores have already started putting out their Halloween/fall decor and inventory, and just seeing like what other movies there are. I just can't think of anything right now, so what I'm probably going to do is I'm going to take a shower. I'm going to make myself some fall flavored tea of some kind, and then I'm going to wind down and just read a book and enjoy a Summerween night.
Alrighty, hello again. I just got home from work. I did throw back on the shirt that I was wearing this morning because I wanted to give a quick little update about the Dead of Summer by Ryan Sala. I did finish that this morning, so I had a fun time reading it. It was a quick... I think there were parts that were definitely really fast-paced, and I liked the back-and-forth banter between the lead three kids in the novel, and I thought that what was happening on the island was very spooky and unique. But I think there were also times where I was just kind of getting confused, and I had a little bit of a hard time visualizing some of the coral zombies and what eventually comes at the end. And I will say the twist part, I'm not going to give it away because of spoilers, but as you probably saw in my clip earlier this morning, that it kind of threw me for a whirlwind. I was like, wait, what? I think the part where I'm struggling with is I know it's a young adult novel, and there's not really a whole lot you could do with young adult, like considering when it's horror, but I felt like there were some parts that just kind of felt too quickly glossed over, because you had like the first person POV of the main boy, Ollie, giving his account, and then you had a scientist who I think was going by like Quadrant 2, and their section is kind of more the back end stuff of what was happening after the outbreak, and their account of everything that happened in a more summarized format to get through the information. So I get what it was trying to do. I just wish that some of those elements were actually shown to us instead of having it just be summarized in a here's what you missed on Glee kind of science report. So I'm kind of a little bummed about that. And I feel like there were some parts that I don't know if they were really well wrapped up, or I don't know. There was like one plot twist that not one plot twist, there was one person that I thought would have some more characterization, but that didn't end up happening. I thought they were going to be connected to the major plot twist at the end, but that didn't end up happening. It's fine, but I still had a fun time reading this book by Brian Sala, and I definitely plan to get my hands on the sequel when it comes out next April. So I think for right now I think I'm somewhere in between 3.5 and 3.75 out of a 5-star rating for that book. So that's my take on The Dead of Summer. And I figured I could wear my Booth Bay shirt because the book is set in Maine. So I feel like I gotta give a little bit of Maine Island rep here. So what do I got for the rest of the night? I'm probably gonna make myself dinner in a little bit, and then I didn't mention, I also started listening to the audiobook of Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McAuley. So that's one where a girl who's named Hannah like me, she's I think a medical intern who ends up having to go on leave because she still is coping with the death of her boyfriend Ben, and she's invited to go on this yoga retreat with her friends, and there is a killer going after them all on this retreat. So I've been wanting to get back into an audiobook for a while, and I've just been struggling to find the right one for me, but I have started listening to this audiobook as of today. I think I'm like a good chunk of the way through. I think I'm already like 15% of the way through the audiobook. It's narrated by the same person that did Black Sheep by Rachel Harrison. So that's a very nice familiarity to go into my audiobook listening experience. But I don't really have many updates for that right now. I'm hoping to continue all of that as the week goes on. But what else do I have planned for tonight? Like I was saying, I'm going to make dinner in a little bit. Maybe keep reading my audiobook or listening to my audiobook. I can't words right now. Or I might just also pick up one of my stack of books from over yonder and maybe just do that. Or I could... Oh my gosh, okay. See, this is where my ambitious habits fly too close to the sun, because I already have way too many books as it is, and I still have yet to read Alice by Christina Henry. I got this when I was doing my Saturday in June vlog, and I still have not touched it. I think it's due next week, so I need to get crack-a-lackin' on reading this. But if I don't, I could always just return it and then request it later, or I could just do it on my Libby app. It's fine. But I'll figure it out. Let me just take some time to decompress after work and get some food in my stomach, and we will go from there. Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. So last night I did start reading Alice by Christina Henry, so I think I literally only read one chapter. Yeah, I only read one chapter. It's unique. It's too early to tell what's gonna be my final opinion, but I will say it is unique. Alright, I'm doing something a little different this morning, because normally I'm out in my living room just like fetching and just trying to get my body up, but I'm like, you know what? I'm an adult with free will. I'm gonna read in bed this morning, so I'm gonna get a little bit of reading time in before I start getting myself ready for the day. So I think I'll probably like maybe read until like maybe about like 7:30, 7:45. So I'll do that, and then I will get myself ready to go for the day. Alright, I'm gonna make this part uber quick because I've got a nail appointment in like 20 minutes, so I need to get going for that. But hi! I know I talked to y'all yesterday, but I think my camera ran out of battery and or memory, so I don't know how far I got into my little explanation, but I was reading more of Alice yesterday before work and when I got home before I went to bed last night, and I just ended up reading in bed because I was like, you know what, I'm an adult, I have free will. I think I do explain it in the previous clip, but again, I don't know how far I got into it, so we shall see. But yeah, anyway, so I'm continuing on with that. It's weird, but I'm gonna trust the process and keep going with it. As for breathe in, bleed out, that still is very fun. I think I'm like 40 or something % of the way through that. Having a great time. It's just been a great turn off brain, enjoy the slasher read. So I'm having a great time. And then for my nails, I know I'm doing a nail appointment. I'm thinking I want to go with something Summerween-ish, like a summer into fall. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I want to do something colorful just because I haven't gotten my nails done professionally in a while, and I want to get into the spirit before I have to like jump back and do acting on the train. And I figured why not just let myself have a little fun with my nails. So I need to figure out what I want. I have a couple ideas. I'll probably put down the ideas here, and then we will figure out which one I end up going with or what my stylist ends up helping me decide on. So I need to get my butt out the door, so I will check base with y'all when I get back home. Also, I forgot to mention, it was raining like crazy out here earlier, and it was so bad. I think it's lined up now, but it still is kind of scary. And I think there was just a bolt of lightning, so pray for me. The nails are done, and I feel like I belong in a cult with alphabet. These nails are definitely giving wicked, so I love them. My stylist did a great job, so shout out to my stylist for doing this. So I am working on it right now. I think I'm just waiting for the oven to cool off before I grab my food, and then I need to figure out something to watch. I'm kind of in between two options. So I'm between In a Violent Nature, which is kind of like a horror slasher that's from the killer's point of view, and then there's this other one called In Our Blood, which I think it's a vampire movie. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know, I think it really just depends on what I'm gonna be able to stomach while I'm eating, because look, I can handle a gory slasher. I'm fine with that. But I think it's just gonna be a matter of like, okay, like what's gonna keep me entertained. So I will make up my mind, and then I'll do my best to try to provide an update when I can, or at least say like, okay, this is what I ended up watching. So we'll get to that, but in the meantime, I'm gonna get my food and we're going to eat and enjoy a movie. Alright, good morning everyone, happy Saturday. I think this is going to be our last day together because I think it's probably been a week since I started filming this, so I figured we could take this as our last day, but I need to provide an update before I get out the door for my massage. So I ended up watching In a Violent Nature last night. That was a very strange movie. I think it's very clever how they did it, and that you basically see a slasher from the killer's perspective, which I think is very unique. I just think it was a little slow, and I think there were parts where I was like, okay, like what was the reason behind this? But I will give creativity points where creativity credit is due. So it's a lot of fun, very gory, very Terrifier-esque kills, so fun time. Also, I have an update regarding Alice. I just made it to page 94, and I'm not having a good time with this. The more I keep reading on, there's parts where I enjoy, and parts that I think are well written, but I'm just not enjoying the content in here, so I'm just gonna make the executive decision to, unfortunately, DNF Alice by Christina Henry, so that's that. I don't need to go on any further with that, so I'll make my updates in my reading apps when I get to where I need to be. But the reason I need to get outdoors so early is because I have a book waiting for me at the library, and that's the sequel to Lavender House, which is part of the Evander Mills series by Love A.C. Rosen. I've got the sequel on hold for me at the library, so I need to go pick that up. But I figured I might as well just go ahead and drop off Alice, since that's next due at the library.
and then I'm gonna go get my massage, and then I'm gonna meet up with my sister. We're gonna watch a movie and then do a little Summerween Halloween crawl at Michael's and Bath and Body Works and wherever else they have Halloween decor. So I'll see y'all later.
So fun. Oh my god.
Alright, hello. It's now later in the day, so I had a pretty good day today. I was able to get my book from the library that I needed, so very, very happy about that. And I was able to go to my massage. It was great. My masseuse did a phenomenal job on me, so very lucky to have him. And then my sister and I ended up going to get Blaze Pizza for lunch, so that was quite good and delicious. We got those s'mores cookies, which I love those. They're so phenomenal. So phenomenal. And what else did we end up doing? Oh yes! We went on a little Halloween decor accessory crawl for a bit, and then we saw Supergirl, and then did another crawl, dropped her off back home, got myself some dinner, and then I just took a bath. So I'll do the crawl first, and then I will debrief on the movie afterwards. So where we ended up starting first was, I think we ended up going to, no, I think it was World Market first. Oh yeah, so we went to World Market first. So I ended up getting myself some maple candy because you just can never say no to maple candy. It's so delicious. Obviously, it's not made maple candy, but I'm willing to give this a try because it's the soft kind, and that's the bomb, because sometimes it can get really tough, the maple candy, so I like it when it's a little soft. And then I also did get myself, because it's fall time in my rule book, that I ended up getting myself some apple cider donut coffee from the Bones Coffee brand, and I am very excited to have this because it reminds me of fall. We're getting to fall, so yeehaw for that. Alright, and then we ended up going over to Michael's Arts and Crafts because they have their new Halloween decor up, and it's almost kind of going like with I feel like a lot of what I've seen this year out already so far is like very much like this carnival-esque vintage style circus Halloween. Because here's the thing, I saw it at Michael's, I saw it a little bit at Home Goods when we walked around, and then I also saw it at Bath and Body Works. There seems to be like this very, like, I don't know what's going on this year, but I think carnival vibe is in, like a spooky vintage carnival. And I don't know why, but I'm here for it. I will say there was a little bit of cute stuff at Michael's, but I think the one that really spoke to me the most so far was this little cute vintage sign that says spooky. This is giving Y2K Halloween, because it very much reminds me of some of the decor that I had growing up. I know there's other stuff I could have gotten at the time, but I still need to kind of sit on that, but I couldn't walk out of the store without getting this, so I'm very happy that I now have possession of the sign, and it's going to live in my house or in my office, depending on where I feel like it needs to go. And then we ended up going over to, the last bit of stuff I got successfully was from Bath and Body Works, so I ended up getting myself a couple of things. So I got myself a couple of these scent light up plugs. So again, very carnival themed, so I ended up getting this fortune teller one, which was really spooky and cool, and it's kind of giving a little bit of Disney's Haunted Mansion, so I love that. And then I noticed it isn't technically like spooky Halloween-ish, but it reminds me of Maine, so I ended up getting this really cute kind of like lobster cottage scent plug. So I'm very excited. Even if I just like have it up only during the summer, if I bring it up to Maine with me, I'll have something here, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So very excited to hold on possession of this. Oh, and I also ended up getting a scenty loo, so I ended up getting myself Honeycrisp Apple in the scent fragrance, and then I also got Ciderling as a room spray. because I do love apple. So that is my little Halloween spooky decor crawl that I did with my sister. And then, yes, we ended up going to see Supergirl in theaters. Now, I will say, I know that the movie was getting panned, and I know a lot of people were not really happy with the execution of it. And I definitely get the criticism. However, I did not hate it. I did not hate it. Was it the best thing I ever saw? No, I've seen better superhero movies. But was it pretty decent? Yeah. Did it pass the assignment and entertain me? Yeah. And my sister and I were kind of talking about it. It's almost kind of like one of those like old samurai movies where you basically have kind of like this rogue samurai who's having to come in and like basically like redefine where they are in life and help out whoever is needed there. Kind of that mixed with Guardians of the Galaxy and also, oh no, I'm blanking on another one that we compared it to, but yeah, anyway, so it kind of gave off that vibe. The script may have been a little bit better and some of the characters may have not been needed per se, but overall, fun time, exceeded my expectations, so it was just fun. It was just fun. I'll leave it at that. So, with that being said, I think this will probably wrap up our week of getting into Summerween together. What am I going to do for the rest of the night? I have no idea. I might start a new book. I might play some games on my Switch because I just downloaded Little Nightmares onto my Switch and I haven't done Switch time in a while, so I might jump into that for like an hour before I go to bed just to give myself something different to do because I don't really get a chance to play on my Switch often, and I should. So I think I might do that before I sleep, and I can't wait. I'm very excited, so this will be a lot of fun. So I'm gonna shut up, I'm gonna go play on my Switch for a little bit, and hopefully I'm not too tired enough to say goodbye to y'all, but I'll figure it out when we get there. Well, just kidding, my Switch died, so I need to charge that, so why don't I jump into a book?